guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I have something new that I'm going to try. I've been looking at some pictures on Pinterest and seeing the beautiful artwork that people have made with using gel printing, and so I found this on Amazon. I will put a link for it down below, but it's just a small little gel printing kit by Gelli Arts. And it comes with 2 stencils, the roller brayer, and the gel plate. So I went ahead and pulled out some stencils that I already had in my stash that I've just had for a while now, and I don't even use them that often. But I have all these different patterns. I think most of them, these 4 are from the Dollar Tree, and then I have a couple, this Waverly one, and then a folk art one. So I thought I would try my hand at doing some jelly printing. I'm just going to do it on regular printer paper. I think it's a 24-pound printer paper. And then I have a bunch of different paints I pulled out of my stash. When I've watched tutorials on these videos, they show using the acrylic paint that is in the tubes, but I don't have any of that kind of paint. So I just pulled out what I have, and we'll see if it works. And I am making these for my junk journals, and I may make extras depending on how they turn out. I may make extras and make little bundles to put in my Etsy shop. So yeah, let's just go ahead, and I'm going to just start experimenting. I looked at some different posts and YouTube videos on different techniques that you can do with them. You can roll the paint out and then put the stencil on top and then put your paper on top of that. Or you can roll the paint out, put the stencil down, pull the stencil up, and then put your paper on it. And then you can just use like the paint that's already on the stencil. You can use the leftover paint on the jelly plate, and just all different kinds of things with that. And then you just keep layering until you like what you have, and then go in maybe with other mixed media kind of products, like a medium paste. I can't remember what that's called, texture paste. And then you can go in with different kinds of paints or inks, or you can use like a Sharpie and just go in and do doodles and things like that. So today I'm just going to play around with the paints and the stencils, and we'll see what we can come up with. So let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm starting off. I have this apple barrel purple paint that I'm going to use, as well as a folk art blue, and I just squeeze some dots on there and then roll it out, just kind of mixing it a little bit. And then I'm taking one of the stencils, putting it on top, and then pressing my paper over the top of that. And I think it just turns out really cool. And I just keep pressing until all the paint is picked up off the jelly plate. And then pick up the stencil and put that on top of the paper. And I do that until the paint is gone off until it stops letting paint off of the stencil. And now I'm just taking the jelly plate itself and putting that on top of the paper. I want to use up every bit of the paint on everything. So I just use what's left on the brayer and roll it out again, and just kind of do exactly what I did before. Pulling in that second piece of paper and adding to that until I like it. It's the beauty of this, is that everything is different, and you can just keep adding and layering. You can let it dry in the layer, or you can layer before it dries. I just keep rolling until all the paint is gone from my brayer and the jelly plate, to make as many papers as I can. These papers, as I said, I'm going to be using in my journals, and I may put some of them up in my Etsy shop. used the brayer and rolled out what was left there, and now I started fresh. I cleaned off my plate, I cleaned off the brayer, and then I'm adding pink and some of this goldish color. And I believe that was a Waverly and a folk art, maybe? Using the other stencil and going in, doing the same thing as I did with the other stencil. I'll just add my paper until all of the paint is gone from the jelly plate through the stencil, and then pick up my stencil and place that on the paper as well. And pull in another piece of paper and use up all the paint on the stencil and the jelly plate. Now they do have different sizes of this jelly plate, so you'll want to check. I'll put links down below for this kit as well as some other jelly plate sizes so that you'll have things to choose from. They do have one that it's 8 by 10, so that's perfect for a whole entire page if you just want to do it like really quick. This I thought was really fun though, using the 6 by 6 size. This would be perfect for note cards or tags or whatever. And you could decorate your pages like an 8.5 by 11 page and then use it to make die cuts from it, or tags, embellishments, and things like that. So now I have this pink, and I'm doing the same two colors as I did before, the pink and orange. Well, actually, these are new color. No, that's what the color. It looked more gold to me before, but I believe that was orange and pink. Now this one I just decided to do just the jelly plate, and that just makes it like a really cool smudged look with the paint. Now my papers are dry, and I wanted to try and use the stencil, the butterfly stencil with the jelly roll, but this stencil didn't work quite right. It didn't bring in the detail that I liked. This was the stencil from the Dollar Tree. These stencils are better used with just a dry brush in the paint. It did a little bit, but just not very detailed. But I think it still turned out really cool. So I just decided not to do that yet. I did go and use that stencil later with just a brush, and it worked out better. Now I'm just using up the purple off my brayer, adding a little bit more purple just to finish this page off. I really love the look of just the jelly plate onto the page. Now, starting a new page, I'm going to add more purple, and I'm adding this turquoise. And the turquoise was a little bit, it was older, so the paint was really thick. But that doesn't really, I mean, I think the thicker the better on this. That's why those heavy body acrylic paints in the tube do really well. But I thought this regular acrylic craft paint worked just fine. And I love this. These are my two favorite colors if you didn't already know that. Adding more turquoise and more purple, just to make a few more pages. And if you didn't know, a jelly plate is, if you didn't know what it was or had never seen one, it's not hard like a plate. That's kind of what I was expecting. It's more like jelly, like gelatin. So it's a kind of a rubbery texture. So that texture just helps to make that really cool background. Alright, so this is dry. Now I want to just use a brush. This is a really hard, dry brush and a stencil, and I'm going to go in and add, it was like a filigree pattern, one of the ones I showed. I think it's either Waverly or Folk Art stencil. This is just adding more detail to the background. And I did use a little bit darker pink on this. My original pink was a light pink. And I love how that turned out. I ended up using this stencil, I think on 3 pages, and I just kind of turned it different ways and placed it differently on the page. I didn't have a stencil brush, one of those little flat ones, so I just found the stiffest brush that I had. Just a little bit more paint, and then I can finish this page off. Something I want to try is using masking tape on the paper, like before you put any paint on it, and just masking off sections on the page, and then using the jelly plate on top of that, and then peeling up the blue tape and just having the lines. It would just, I think that would be a cool effect. And here's how they all turned out. I think they turned out really beautiful, and it's just a quick and easy way to make some background pages for your journals or for tags, embellishments, cards, and things like that. Also, starting of your art journaling or mixed media projects. It's so much fun. I think this kit was about $19 to $20. As well, I will link the other sizes and stencils and products that you can use with your jelly plate. So I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up if you did, leave me a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time. I'll be praying for each and every one of you that you're staying safe and healthy, and God bless. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye!